Hi, my name is Libby Johnson and I'm here with Drew Schrimsher from Agra AFC, and we are standing in a unique variety plot. Instead of having 6 rows of different varieties, we have one very long row of different varieties. And Drew planted it this way for one particular issue, but he's using it for other reasons. Can you tell us why you have this, Drew?
Yes, the main objective here is to get a cotton out in a later planted environment. This was behind small grains that may be more susceptible to see cotton leafroll dwarf virus, which was the new virus in cotton that was identified in 2017. But kind of the objective here is to get all the new stuff. So we saw varieties on one of the commercial variety trials, just kind of a standard variety trial. They're usually the newer commercial varieties that are on the market in those trials. But here we've went in and took those new varieties and also added the experimentals to it that may be named or released, in the next couple of years. So we get a kind of a glimpse on a lot of new stuff as quick as we can to see if there is any resistance to cotton leafroll dwarf virus or any tolerance or differences and overall with the varieties. Like I said, it was late planted behind small grains, because it looks like some of the initial data or some of the stuff that has been evaluated with cotton leafroll dwarf virus is the later the maturity of the cotton, the more impact from a yield standpoint it may have. The virus may cause a yield reduction in the later planted cotton. But just like Libby said, kind of one row. We wanted to get something out, on the farm and in different, environments. And I know I automatically came up with this idea several years ago, just to plant it, plant the one row trial in some areas that may be, potentially see a, problem with the virus coming. I know Santa Rosa County always has some later planted cotton, so that's kind of why we brought it down here.
But you said there was other reasons, like maybe looking for other diseases.
That's right. Yeah, we will, and I'll come back. Just it's unique to have this many varieties, especially experimentals, in a commercial field or grower's field that we can get out and learn about. Because a lot of variety trials on farm are 6 row or bigger plots, so there's not right beside comparison. So different disease, maybe bacterial blight. Target spot, just anything we can come in here and look at and maybe get a feel on, evaluate, however we can use it. And then also maturity. I know everybody is always thinking full season type environment down here, but some of these are an earlier variety, maybe has more yield potential. See how they tolerate the growth regulators, how they respond to them, and maybe how to manage them moving forward. So several different things we can compare here, but obviously if the virus shows up, getting in and getting some ratings. It's hard to get yield coming from one row plots, but we can kind of create some reps across here to do some different ratings from that standpoint. So.
But this is all harvested as
yes, it will. Last year we kind of debated on how to get some yield from it, but I think if we ever identified maybe something with more tolerance or resistance, whatever, that we could use that going forward to get some yield data from. So, but just pretty much ratings and observations on symptoms is the objective.
It's a fantastic trial.
There's a purple pigment that plants produce, and thiocyanate. Yes, I think that's what it is in there, and it is a response to those sugars being built with slower growth. So as the cotton matures out, and you don't have new growth coming, they don't have anywhere to go with the sugars, and that's when that purple pigment's produced. Okay. But you see that's what healthy cotton should look like, right. Always. And that's from the get-go, which the symptoms we originally found was much more advanced than that, and it got worse and worse. But that is healthy cotton. That is starting to see some crumpling and crinkling and reddening. Mm-hmm. And yeah. That, I mean, if that makes sense. So originally we started seeing a lot of really crumpled, ugly looking terminal growth,
everything that looks
compared to right beside it a new one. So I was like, what's wrong with that plant? Yeah. It advanced on, and by the end of the season in those original fields, it was just dramatic.
So like last year, compared to, I mean, you said you haven't really found that much this year. Last year, you would get people that would send you samples and tell you this has got to be it. And how many times were they possibly wrong?
A good bit, yeah. It seems like, you know, it is kind of unique look, and a virus is. I mean, if you've ever studied viruses a lot, sometimes they'll just have that's ugly. It's a virus, you know, unique look to it. But a lot of people were seeing maybe insect damage or old thrip damage that was causing some unique looks to it. But I think those were tested a lot, and it was negative. And then some symptoms I saw was positive too from stuff that didn't really look like it either. But anyways,
it's not like tomato spotted wilt virus in peanuts.
That's right.
That's easy to pick out, but this is not the easiest thing.
And two, it seems to be maybe not a variety response in resistance or tolerance, but a variety response in how aggressive they are. I mean, you can look across here and see the different varieties. Well, obviously one that's got a lot more growth, that's handling an environment better and growing, it's not as early, that's not wanting to mature out, to have more leaf to look at it on, so you'd say that one's worse than this other one.
Right.
But from what little bit of yield data we got up in Bruton, that wasn't the case. They were still very good yielders. So.
The reason we're talking to Drew Schrimsher about this is because he really is considered the kind of expert on it, because he's the one who basically located it in this part of the world. Do you want to share anything about that?
Yeah, in 2017 we were in a grower's field. It was a later planted cotton, and was trying to help him make decisions on managing the cotton, meaning insect management and growth regulator management, that kind of thing. And several times we had stopped and the grower asked, what's wrong with that plant, just out of curiosity. Normal field visit, what I say. And I was just determined that it was like nothing I'd seen before and wanted to figure it out. And so as it progressed and I kept on following up and visiting that field, I said, that's got to be a virus. And sure enough, I mean, it was. It had, by then, it had such a stunning and crumple and, you know, virus symptom look to it that we did feel confident it was virus. So I reached out to my old advisor, Kathy Lawrence, and always, you know, rely on her now for, you know, just helping the field, diagnostics and whatever. And I asked her to come look, and she did, and she agreed. She said, I think we do have some type of virus going on. So they started working on that whole process and getting it identified and confirmed and everything. So that's kind of the story. Out in 2017, that was in August, and by the end of the season, even through here, I can't remember when the first plant was probably positive. I think 2018 maybe in Santa Rosa County, but even through here, started seeing plants in fields that had it going on. So, and but it's still a kind of a mystery. I don't think overall now that it's going to be as big of an impact on cotton as maybe it looked in 17 and 18, but still something to keep our eye on, I think, with especially how it's kind of complicated to study and figure out.
All right. Well, thank you, Drew.
Thank you.